What's up, nation? This is the Nothing But Raiders podcast, hosted by Raider Nation Hotspot. And we're going to make it happen, keep it going, as it's that time. So we may have some guests joining us as we move along here, and that's what we'll do. All right. So first up, Raiders are on a bye week. Everybody knows that. And pretty interesting activities on this bye week. It wasn't just your normal bye week. We got a team meeting again, so that's always a good sign when you have 2 team meetings halfway through the season. And we've got a new coordinator, and an old new coach is back with the team, so a lot to kind of go through, right? So welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. Those of you in the chat, shout out to my boy A-Train for entertaining us all while we waited. Shout out to my boy Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights, and happy Tuesday to you too. Right? So I think the big thing that everybody probably wants to talk about is the most recent development with a players only meeting where it sounds like the coaching staff got a talking to about not preparing properly, things like that. So you know how I feel about the head coach situation, and I'm the only one here, so my opinion rules. We'll have more people come, but it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. But let's talk about the new stuff. Try to be a little bit positive here, right? So we got a brand new situation at coordinator. Obviously, people have had a lot to say about Luke Getsy, but he's not here anymore, right? And in comes Scott Turner, who has worked closely with his father, Norv, in numerous stops. I think they worked together in Carolina. They worked together in Washington again. So Scott actually is a Vegas guy because he went to UNLV and was a quarterback there, just to give everybody a little insight. So UNLV, shout out to them and their season. They're having a better season than the Raiders are. But it's going to be interesting to see, what the offense looks like, how it evolves under Norv Turner. Well, under Scott Turner. Okay? He's the actual coordinator. Norv is a offensive assistant or special magic coach that's going to come in and add something to what we're doing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But I think the important thing is that he's an experienced coordinator. Scott has called plays, I think, in 2 different stops, done so in college as well. And then, of course, Norv Turner is probably one of the most experienced coaches you're going to find on a staff. I was actually surprised when the rumors started to kind of percolate. Western came on our show last week and brought up the fact that Norv might be added. And I was like, are you talking about Norv Turner and not Scott Turner? And he was like, no, it's actually Norv Turner. So, yeah, it's both, right, basically. There's a difference in the offensive kind of philosophies between what we were doing before and what Norv has always ran. Scott has had a little more experience in kind of a West Coast situation where he added his kind of passing game coordinator stuff to that. He did that with us here this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what we lean on more. I think we're going to get a lot more RPOs. And I think based on kind of rumors out there and then just kind of logical sense, we're going to see Desmond Ridder start. I'd be surprised if we didn't. I think when we got him, I said, probably by a week before we see him. The head coach obviously is not behind Minshew, as many of us are not. So I think we're going to see Desmond Ridder, and we're going to see a lot more probably read option and kind of see how that goes. So there's a lot of rumors also about what that meeting between players and everybody meant, right? I think it means that AP is on a very, very short leash. And so let's get some votes in the chat. Let's put a 1 in the chat if you think AP makes it through the season without losing his job. And give me a 2 if you think that he's going to get fired before the season is over. I mean, if you take a look at the schedule, this Miami game looks like the most winnable thing we're going to play for a while. And we've got to travel down to Miami, which is never easy. Salute to my boy Raider Ryan in the house. So the question becomes, does AP make it out of the season? That's going to be funny, because that's I think we may have moved past the is he going to make it as the coach. I'm hard pressed to see how he comes back next season, especially with the rumors about Shedeur Sanders and that sort of thing, and drafting a quarterback regardless of whether it's Shedeur or not. I don't understand how you have that guy responsible for moving forward and having a new quarterback and training that person to be the leader of the franchise. He hasn't handled the quarterbacks well, in my opinion. I think what he did, to Minshew was bad, right? What he did to Aiden O'Connell was a damn right criminal, as far as not giving him a great chance to succeed. That may be the last starting snaps we see from Aiden O'Connell if he doesn't make his way back this year. His prognosis for the broken thumb doesn't take into account regaining strength in that thumb after he comes out of his cast, and that's his throwing hand. So grip strength is paramount. Typically, when you break a thumb, you've got to take some time to rehab just to get your normal strength back and be able to whip that ball out there. So we may not see him for the rest of the season, and then once that happens, there's no guarantee he starts again. And so I feel like it was unfair for him to be put in that situation. I did not want him to start. I felt like he needed to develop some and be put in a better position to succeed. You know what I mean? Let's see. Raider Ryan's got a comment. He says, it's a bit concerning with all the experience coaches AP surrounded himself with, and no one bothered to correct the lack of physical practice and wasted time. This is a huge point. Why are we taking days off anytime we do something good? Why are we not practicing in pads all week, all the time? It's something he said he was going to do, and then I guess that changed now. We're not in pads. We're taking days off, and days off are for winners. Like coffee is for closers, right? So I don't know, man. I absolutely agree with that. I made a comment weeks ago when I heard that he was having us practice without pads, and I just don't think we're ready for that. I don't think we've earned that as a team. So I think we're gonna get our boy Black in here in just a few minutes. So that's cool. But yeah, I think that we can do better than AP as the leader of our franchise if we're going to be bringing in a new quarterback and trying to move forward in that direction. So we had a split vote. Wait, let's see what was the vote so far in the chat. We got a lot of twos that says he's going to make it all the way through the season. Raider Ryan says he's getting axed. Raider Ryan, I agree with you. I think that it's just going to get worse. And yeah, we'll talk about predictions later, but I'm not sure that we win another game, and that's rough. We're already at 5 straight, so we'll see. I don't think he gets fired this week, but I think, come back home and lose another game to Denver, and you never know. Those home games are rough because when you lose home games and people are leaving, fans are leaving early, Mark sees that. Definitely. And the most important thing to him is that the fans are having a good time and getting a good experience. Working in a facility, I know that it's very clear based on just how things work around there. So I think the biggest nail in his coffin is the fact that people are leaving early. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So just so you know, Anthony, I'm doing it without Darian because he asked me to. I would never disrespect that man. He's a great person. So just so you know, Darian asked me to do this. He has it on his channel because he wants to keep the show going and have people have the opportunity to get this information. So yeah, Darian's a great guy. I would never disrespect that man. All right. So just want to make that clear. Man, Raider Ryan, he says, I'm right there with you, some crazy way, and Alpha W on Black Friday and give the Queefs their first loss. That would be funny. I would take that. I really, winning probably isn't the best thing for our long-term future and all that good stuff and pick, but I hate the Chiefs so much. Just so much. And beating them in Kansas City, I don't care. I'll take it. I hate them so much. So yeah, well, hopefully we can get something going, right? And we got Darian in the house letting people know that that it's supposed to be like that. So what's good, my bro? Thank you for popping in. I know you got stuff on the horizon. Darian has his own little podcast popping off at 7:30. Make sure you check him out. He is dope. But you all know that because, yeah, I mean, you've seen him before. So, and I guess we're cool now, Anthony? All right. Me and you, best friends. All right. So, yeah, I mean, we're in this position. We got Miami coming up. Tua's back. So good for him. Apparently, he was never going to, relinquish the opportunity in his career, regardless of the concussion thing. So he's a trooper. It's nice. Man, it's rough playing in Miami, on the road. Our record, not great. We did have a whole bye week, though. You would hope that we'd be able to scheme up and make something happen against a team that is also not, world beaters. They were missing Tua for a lot of these games, but they are 2-6. So you would think we should be able to compete against this team, and it's probably our best chance for victory. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens. The draft, right? right now, I think currently we're the 5th pick. And my concern is that there are teams in front of us that are definitely going to be interested in picking a quarterback, right? The Giants, I think they're done with the Daniel Jones experiment. His contract actually puts him in a situation I think they can make something happen, as opposed to last year. It would have been pretty crazy to try to get rid of him after signing him for as much as they did. Right now I think the Jags are projected to have the first pick. They still have Trevor Lawrence. I feel like that's not something they're going to move off of easily. But you never know. They could surprise us. I didn't think the Falcons were going to take a quarterback after signing Kirk Cousins to one of the largest contracts for a quarterback in history. So you never know, right? And I think, we also have the Giants, Tennessee, Will Levis. We'll see what they do. They might just be taking a quarterback. And then Cleveland needs to win a game for us to have any chance of the number 1 pick, because we beat them. And so far we have the same strength of schedule. That could change as we move forward. But at this point, we kind of need Cleveland to lose a game, right? And then kind of right behind us are New England, New Orleans, the Jets, and Carolina. And then rounding out the top 10 is the Miami Dolphins, who are 3-6. I said 2-6. The other 3-6. So it's all bunched up there. We got 2 teams at 2-8, and then a bunch of 2-7, 3 at 2-7, and a bunch of 3-7, 3-6, things like that. So we don't really know how that's going to shake out, but the draft order will figure itself out, right? So let's look at the schedule over the next few weeks, right? Because that kind of is a part of the idea of, is AP going to make it out of the season, right? So we travel to the Dolphins, which is tough. And we have the Broncos at home, which, that used to be, thought of as, basically a guaranteed win. But, at this point, we can't be too sure, right? Since the Broncos beat us in our house already. And it looks like they have their future quarterback in Bo Nix, who was picked 1 pick before our pick came up, unfortunately, I guess. So that's going to be a tough one, right? And then right after that, who are we talking here? We've got the Chiefs game in Kansas City. Then the Bucks come in. They're a good team. We've got the Falcons coming in. Oh, actually, we traveled to the Buccaneers, so that's even worse, right? Florida, once again, Florida is rough to play in on the road. At least it won't be too hot, but man, the Bucks are a pretty good team this year. Baker Mayfield beat us on like 3 days of practice, so who knows what he'll do, with a whole off season to actually know the offense and players he actually recognizes their names. Then we got the Jags coming in, so maybe that's a win, right? We got to beat the Jags. Come on. Then we have, I think, the game a lot of us will be waiting for. We travel to New Orleans to play the Saints, right? So that's a crazy one. So I'm just saying, we got the Chargers at home to finish off the season. There's just not a lot of what look like wins on this schedule, guys. Maybe we beat the Jags going through here. Maybe the Saints, depending on what's going on. But this looks like a 3 or 4 win team, and that's really unfortunate based on the talent that's here. Raider Ryan says, what are your thoughts on Drew Aller in the third if we miss out again? I don't think Drew Aller makes it to the third. We'll see, you know what I mean, how he finishes out. But I suspect what will happen is that as we get closer to draft time and he's testing and throwing and pro day and all that good stuff, he'll move up into probably the bottom of the first round. I have him as my third quarterback right now because Carson Beck looks like he's too much of a game manager, and then sometimes he can't even manage the game without throwing too many picks. So, I haven't had a chance to scout all the quarterbacks. I always do that, and I will be putting out a video series on all of them and comparing them and putting them through, the analytical process. Okay. We had a power surge, guys. But I'm back. That was weird. All right. Um, yeah, I think Drew Aller is going to actually move up the draft boards as we get closer. It could probably be end of the first round, top of the second, or something like that. Um, there's some other guys out there. I don't know what you guys feel about like Quinn Ewers and Jalen Milroe and those guys. I'm not too hot on those dudes, but maybe things will change after I have a chance to kind of look at the tape. Like I said, I will be looking at the tape and doing all that analytical stuff that I did last year with people. But yeah, we got the kid from LSU, Garrett Nussmeier, and then we got my boy A-Train's favorite, Dylan Gabriel. He's a Duck guy, so go Ducks, right? Yeah, so it's gonna be. There's some different kind of choices out there. if you're in the chat, go ahead and tell me who your non Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders quarterback is. Who's the third quarterback in this draft to you guys? That actually helps me kind of go through and see who to spend time on more than others. Jackson Dart is a popular name out there. Ole Miss. So, got to kind of let things shake out and go from there, right? You were right, Raider Ryan. He is the big body Tom Telesco type. I saw comps for him, and I think the most often comp I've seen is Justin Herbert. So I think that's pretty telling because of Telesco's tree. And Herbert. So we could see that, right? Let's see. What else we got? He kicked himself out of his life. Yeah, man. Like we had the power did something weird, and it just came right back on. So I had to go through that whole reset thing. But yeah, that's crazy, right? And then let's see. He says Milroe ran for 4 touchdowns this weekend. See, that's the key though. Like ran for 4 touchdowns because I saw him a lot last year, and I just didn't see a lot of quarterbacky stuff from him. It was more running backy stuff. Maybe it's different this year. I will take a look. You know what I'm saying? And I feel you with the Roll Tide stuff. You must be a fan, but can he throw? Chat. Can Milroe play quarterback, or is it just like he's a glorified running back situation? Because we don't really need a running back. I mean, we do need a running back, but not at the quarterback position. I don't think he wants to switch to running back though. So, yeah. So we'll see. I feel more comfortable with that Raiders blowing up. What's up, A-Train? Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of different quarterbacks coming out. I think obviously Shedeur has the connection to Brady. It's been talked about a lot. Brady trains him, texts him after games, and all that good stuff. I think an interesting idea is Cam Ward, along with the coach there, Cristobal, is like a combination. And I give credit to my boy A-Train for coming up with that one. So shout out. But yeah, I mean, that could be something, right? Most quarterback combinations are always interesting, right? You know that he knows how to handle it. They obviously have communication. They're a successful team this year. Obviously, not the hottest time. They're coming off a loss, but you can see something like that, right? Shedeur's coming, and he's already got Brady here, so that's really helpful. Someone he's already worked with, and that sort of stuff, and that knows how to communicate with him is already here. So that's a helpful thing, right? He says Vic 2.0. Okay, so blasphemy. No. Do not speak another quarterbacks. That's supposed to be athletics name with Michael Vick. No. Does Milroe run like a 4.1 something? Because I swear Michael Vick. That's yeah. Anyway, he can run. Michael Vick also has arm talent, like ridiculous arm talent. So if he was Michael Vick, I'd be advocating that we pick him. So that's how I feel about it, right? When will you and Western do another live? Western is the hardest working person in, I'm going to say the Northern California School District, just the whole thing. He makes sure that all the schools are clean for the children up there. And can you imagine cleaning up the children in school? I don't even want to clean them after my kids at home. So like thousands of them. I think, how many kids go to a school? There's no way. There's no way. But yeah, when he's available, we always bring Lester in. When he has time, he has an open invitation. He knows he can just call in, and we'll add him to the show. But I will keep you posted on that. Hopefully, he has some availability coming up in the next week or so he can be on one of them. And we would have been able to do something last week, but I was actually at Allegiant Stadium. So Billy Joel and Sting. Really interesting crowd. Interesting crowd for that. So, but thanks for asking. Yeah, Western's a cool dude, right? He says, but you're right. Milroe makes bad decisions with the ball. Okay, see, yeah, not my cup of tea. But this is hearsay at this point. I will watch the tape anyway, and I will give him a rating because he's one of the most talked about quarterbacks in the class right now. I think, a lot of websites have him ranked, 3 or 4. So we'll see. And look at this. A-Train's been given permission to be in the chat. That's beautiful. He's got a good woman. So shout out to A-Train and his lady. Right? Yeah. I think quarterback is the way we have to go. I think a lot of people see that like Cam Ward is another one of those people in discussion for a top pick. And I don't know, if we can, either one of those quarterbacks are good. I think the difference is that we have that connection to Shador as opposed to Cam Ward. But I think the Cam Ward crystal ball idea is pretty interesting. And A-Train, I will take you up on that. So yeah, let me shoot a link over here to my boy so he can join for a little bit since he's allowed to come out and play, which is cool. But yeah, let's see. Let me get this link over. And let's see. Yeah. So let's talk about the Miami kind of roster and kind of the different matchups that we'll have on Sunday. All right, so let me pull up their roster real quick. So just kind of take a look at things, right? I know that they made a lot of changes on defense. Obviously, they lost Christian Wilkins because he's a Raider now. He's not healthy, but he is on our team and not theirs, right? So that's one thing. But looking at their roster, the defense is probably, still has a lot of talent. I know they were in cap hell. They were in a situation where, they had to make some choices. And so Christian Wilkins is gone. But, he wasn't the only thing that made their defense formidable, right? They still have Jalen Ramsey, who, for all intents and purposes, one of the best players at the position in the NFL. They have Javon Holland, who I like at the safety position back there. So that's going to be interesting. They've got Cam Smith, who they draft to kind of fill in at the other corner position. So he's a talented player, physical, all that good jazz. And, it's going to be interesting to see how we play against them. But you know what else is interesting? A-Train. What's up, man?
Well,
What's the haps? How's it going?
well, I'm listening, man. Like what you do is you enlighten people like me who need to learn stuff, and I'm sitting here listening to you because you're one of the most, uh, what's the word, sweetheart? You're like a teacher. You're like a teacher to this football game. So I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here listening to everything you're talking about. I heard about the crystal ball thing you dropped for me. Respect. I also heard about Gabriel. Respect. And I guess Gabriel is he's a second round or third round pick. And I guess there's only two quarterbacks that are going in the draft in the first round, and it's Sanders and it's Cam. And I think that based off the CBS mock draft that I saw today, the Giants probably will pick before us, and they probably will take Cam Ward. And if that happens, then that whole thing that you and me talked about before, that's blowing up. So
hmm Yeah, no. I think when it's all said and done, we might sneak into the first round as well. Um, depending on how Quinn Ewers looks or whatever, he could be a late first rounder as well. So, as we get closer and closer to the draft, quarterbacks tend to creep their way up, right? Because quarterback is so important. People kind of value that a lot of times more than specific position players and that sort of stuff. So you may see more than just those two go in the first round. I think Dylan Gabriel's issue is a size thing, size and arm strength. Um, so that's why he may fall a little bit. Drew Aller does not have that issue, and I think you start to see him throw the ball around and all that good stuff. He may start to shoot up draft boards. I don't think anybody thought like JJ McCarthy would go as high as he did at this time last year, right? But that's kind of what ends up happening, right? Um, so, Adrian, who's your third quarterback? I asked the chat, who's your third quarterback right now?
so honestly, I don't have a third quarterback because I figure the Raiders are picking one and two, and it's either gonna be Sanders or it's gonna be Cam. And
Mm,
this is a very unlikable opinion, but I think the Raiders pick, five or under in this draft, and I think you can get one of those guys for because if you look at that draft that Ryan's talking about it, the one I sent you in the chat, there's the only teams that really need a quarterback in the first five picks are us and the Giants. So I feel
Cleveland.
like we get one of those guys, and I don't really have a third guy, bro.
Cleveland needs a quarterback. Deshaun Watson uh, blew out his Achilles halfway through the season. He won't be back for week one. There's almost no chance of that. Um, and he was playing poorly when he got hurt. So um, hopefully he gets some legal massages on his footsies area and comes back quickly. But
I mean, if I was gonna pick
I
a
doubt
third, it'd
it'll
be
be
Dylan Gabriel. I mean,
to
we
start
all
the
we all
season,
know that.
right?
I'm a Dylan Gabriel fan, and
No, you
you
Ducks
told me
fans.
he's small. He's small, and he has a weak arm. In my opinion, he's a more accurate
I didn't say
Tua.
weak. I said it wasn't strong. It's different.
So I'm an
A
Oregon
more
guy. So
accurate.
I'm gonna rock with my boy. I'm gonna rock with my boy Gabriel. I mean, look what Herbert's. I mean, you could say Herbert hasn't done anything yet, but Herbert gets hurt quite a bit. But yeah, I'm rocking Gabriel as my third if I got to pick one. So, but I'm biased.
Uh,
So it doesn't make any sense to anybody else listening in this chat. It's just I've been an Oregon fan since I was a Raider fan. My family is Oregon and Raider fans, and I gotta rock with it, man.
mm, yeah, I
I'm
hear
popular.
you.
I understand. I'm popular. It's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
no,
But
no.
if you could
That
get
would be like
Gabriel in the third,
drafting
you could get
Minshew.
if you could get if you could get Dylan in the third, in the third round, right? Let's say, okay, let me pitch this to you, right? Let's say that for some reason the Raiders
Oh, here we go.
don't get Shador, they don't get Cam, and then everybody else I don't know anything about, but let's say that that running back from BYU was on the board. Do you take him, and do you draft a quarterback in the second round, or do you reach and try to get a quarterback in the first
Mhm.
round and reach when you know you could probably get him in the second round, Kier?
I don't believe in taking first round running backs. So, um, you know, maybe I haven't seen enough of this kid. Maybe he's just absolutely generational. But, you know, people thought Trent Richardson was going to be one of those guys. So I don't think that running backs belong in the first round in the current climate of how they are valued in the NFL and how they're available in different rounds and that sort of stuff, and how long you can count on them to really lead your team. It's a passing league. Yeah, it's a position prone to injury. So I'm not really a first round guy for running backs. That's just my opinion. I think
So
we think
if I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I think we need to take a quarterback high, very high. I think that you usually succeed at quarterback because you took them number 1 or 2 or something like that, right? Those are the guys who end up winning Super Bowls, pretty much. I mean, because
If they're not,
statistically,
if they're not there though, if they're not there, right? If Shador
if
isn't
they're not,
there and Ward isn't there, do you take the best player available
you mean
and
if we
wait
like
till the
rate it,
second round?
if we rater it up and win like 4 games in a row right now, and then just still lose the rest of the games, miss the playoffs, and end up picking like 17 or
We're
12 or
talking about.
something?
I respect the shit out of Telesco, bro. I do, but Telesco is known to pick the best player available. So if Shador isn't there and Cam isn't there, and he thinks that he can get a quarterback in the second round, who would you pick besides quarterback in the first round if you had to pick a player beside? And let's say that other guy from Colorado's gone because he gets taken by Miami, or not Miami, but Jacksonville. I'm sorry. Let's say that
Yeah, he's
that one
going
guy
like
who's multi-dimensional.
top 3 or something. Yeah, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, so let's say he's not there. Who do you take if you can't take a quarterback in the first round and you think you can get a good quarterback in the second round if you're Telesco? Like, what do you take? Offensive line, defense? Like, you know the draft better than anybody else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends on what we're picking. You know, if we're picking, I'm assuming we're still picking high, but you're saying these guys are gone. Is that the scenario you're talking about?
We're picking
Because
at
in that
five. We're picking at
scenario,
five.
you
And
know,
Cam Ward's gone. Cam Ward's gone. Sanders is
mhm,
gone, and that defensive guy, I
Travis
can't
Hunter is
ever remember
gone.
his name, from Colorado.
Tra-
Yeah, he's
Travis
gone.
Hunter. Yeah,
Yep, Travis
yeah, yeah.
Hunter's gone.
Then
So they're all
you
gone.
go tackle. Go tackle. Get yourself, you know, the kid out of Texas, Banks, or you can take the kid from Michigan, right? There's 2 kind of good tackles. Actually 3 because you got the kid from LSU too, Campbell. Um, I would go there, or you could even go with the corner from Michigan, Will Johnson, good corner. So to me, those top picks are like premium position. So you need to get somebody who throws the ball, somebody who chases after the guy who throws the balls, or pass rusher, somebody who stops the guy who throws the ball from completing balls in the corner, right? Um, I think those are the real premium positions, um, and so I think that's what you got to kind of shoot for when you're picking that high, is to get a game changer at one of the premium positions. Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, I think in that top 5 area, those are the guys you're going to be looking at. It's either going to be a tackle, one of those quarterbacks, or you know, one of the 2 corners, right? That I think are going to go. So yeah, that if it's me and we're stuck, you know,
Is one of
get
them
that.
a left tackle? Like, are you worried? Are you worried about Colton Miller, or do you think Colton Miller's just been injured this whole year Like, do you think Colton Miller will step up next year, or are you trying to like get his replacement right now? Because DJ Glaze, right? I think you and me probably
Hmm.
both agree that DJ Glaze could be the right guard, right?
Right tackle. Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm sorry, not right guard, but right tackle.
Hmm.
Are you
Yeah.
replacing? Are you replacing? Are you replacing our boy Colton? Because is he falling off or is he injured?
Okay. So to me, the injury thing is kind of what. Yes, he's injured, but that is a bad sign, right? The injury he had was something that's pretty serious, right? When you get an injury like that to the shoulder, it's not guaranteed that you fully recover. He has been kind of nicked up all year. He's starting to get older. This could be the start of his like decline, right? And we really don't have any depth at tackle. You know, clearly, if he gets hurt, it's like end of the world scenario. Oh, cute.
So the whole world can know this is my girl right here. This is Kershawn. She has over a
She's
hundred
like,
thousand
let me
followers on
out of
TikTok.
here.
Yeah, she's a movie star and she hates that I bring her into the spotlight, but I had to bring her over here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks for adding her. We'll probably get a lot more likes and people following us now just because she was in the picture for like 10 seconds. I'm going to
She's
promote
hot.
it as
She's
her
hot.
podcast. So,
Yeah, yeah, she's
um,
hot. Sorry, that's just 60 train. My bad.
hey,
Continue. I apologize.
it's the
Got to give
ladies
her
that
a clout.
distract
Got to
us.
give her a
Yeah,
clout. Got to give her a clout.
hey, she's for real, man. Um, but yeah, like I think that if we're not able to, pull off getting the quarterback up high, and I'm crying at the time because I will be crying if we get up to
We'll be
five and we
crying because
still
you'll be at my
can't get a quarterback.
you'll be at my house, so we'll be
I
crying
will.
together because we're gonna do a draft show from my house that day.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. Everybody draft is at the train station this year. Choo choo. We're gonna do it from A Train's house in the boonies. You live in like Iowa or Idaho or what is it again?
It's 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 eastern. Or I'm sorry, it's western Washington, eastern Idaho. So yeah, there's not even a Carl's Jr. out here. So if you like Carl's Jr., we can't get that. But I do have some good pizza out here.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna have to pack a double Western bacon cheeseburger with me. That's fine. Those can stay on the
Ouch,
plane, right?
ouch, ouch.
Can you bring them on the plane?
I got a burger place for you, so you know.
Okay. All right.
It's a
I'll try
burger.
that.
It's like a burger that's like 12 inches big. It's freaking huge. It's called Epi Burger, man. Shout out to Epi Burger. You're gonna love that shit.
Okay.
So
All right. All right. A 1 foot burger. Okay. All right. Why not? Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. But yeah, we gotta get a quarterback, man. Like I've said this before. Like we don't draft quarterbacks in the first round, and then we wonder why we don't like have good quarterbacks. That's kind of why. Um, so
this is our chance. This is our chance, bro. Like if we don't do it
mhm.
now, we may never get one.
He's like never.
Like low key, we always finish middle of the pack. We always finish
Mm-hmm.
middle of the pack,
Yeah.
and we're always just like that much out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm not saying just tank, baby. Actually, I am like on everything that I post, but I don't think we even have to tank because I think we're that
Who's
bad.
who's thinking? Yeah, we're bad. We don't have to.
Yeah, we're bad.
Mm-mm.
So
Did you see the schedule? I
yeah,
mean,
no, I went through that, but I was talking to Krishan. I couldn't actually like comment on it at the time. But yeah,
yeah.
no, it's pretty tough.
Are we winning any more games for the rest of the
Well,
season?
I'm gonna tell you this: we're gonna lose to the Chargers, we're gonna lose to the Chiefs, and we're gonna lose to the Broncos again. And as much as
Ah,
as much as that pains me, you and
wow.
me both
Just
know who Bo
sweat.
Nix is. You and me both know who Bo Nix is, and you and me
Yeah.
both wanted Bo Nix low key, and the Broncos took him
Yeah.
from us. So Bo Nix is gonna be a good quarterback, and Bo Nix is gonna beat the Raiders and we're gonna lose twice to the Broncos, and just Raider Nation's gonna have to deal with that, and it sucks. But guess what? That's what happens. The cleansing. This is the cleansing.
Yes, the cleansing. I likened our team to an overgrown forest that has never had a forest fire because they were like scared of fire or something. Uh, but when you do that, the forest gets choked off and overgrown, and weeds and vines are everywhere. And it's like, you know, birds getting strangled by leaves and buried in grass. We got to like just let it burn, man. Let it burn.
I'm one
Like
of the
us.
only people I feel like that actually understood that analogy, because the one thing the Raiders have never done, like legit, like when you've said this before, nobody seems to get it. But the one
Mhm.
thing the Raiders have never done is burn everything to the ground. Like
Right.
since Al Davis, they've always tried to like keep a little bit of a candle lit in the darkness.
Hmm. Hmm.
Guess what?
Which is,
That that
yeah,
that candle leads to mediocrity.
bang. Mediocrity is the trap, right? It is, it just holds on to you and you can never get away. Um, you don't want to be just good enough to not be really good, and also too good to get any picks that allow you to move up. Um, it doesn't just happen when you have a mediocre quarterback. It happens when you have a mediocre record over and over again, right? The reason we had the highest winning percentage in the NFL was even when we weren't dominating and winning Super Bowls, at worst, we were winning 8 or 9 games, which sounds awesome until you realize that, you know, we've had, I think, 3 real shots at our first. One of those was Marcus Russell.
Yo, we all know
The
how
other one
that
was
turned
Todd
out.
Marinovich.
Yup.
And then the third one, or whatever, so far back in our past that no one even knows who he was. So, yeah, I challenge anybody in the chat. Who was the third quarterback that was drafted in the first round by the Raiders? And don't, if you know it,
I
let me
couldn't
know.
tell you. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I'm like straight
Yeah,
off the top. Like straight off the top. I couldn't tell you who it was.
no,
But I'm gonna
no
tell
one
you
knows.
this. I'm gonna tell you this. That 8 wins is it's nice, but fans don't want to see us. Like I've watched so many. I watched like 3 podcasts today on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
they're cool with like trying to be competitive right now. And I'm like, you realize, and this is a very unpopular opinion, but I
Yeah,
realize, like, I'm like, hey, man, like, you guys want to be competitive and win like 3 or 4 more games, and you guys not realize what that does to our future.
right.
And I'm not saying that I don't want the Raiders to win. All I'm saying is, like, these guys are like, oh, well, we're bringing in, this guy, that guy, this guy, and it's like, all right, so they're like, oh, the Raiders are gonna win like 3 or 4 or 5 more games, and I'm like, okay, does that not everything we've done in our entire past is just be
Yes.
middle of the pack? And it's very unpopular. It's very unpopular because Raider fans don't want to lose. They don't want to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They don't want to be the New York Giants. But guess what? I mean, look what happened to the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans bombed out. They bombed out. What they get, like 1 or 2 wins the year before they got CJ Stroud? And CJ
Mm-hmm.
Stroud took them to the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
their first year. So y'all had to prepare
Mm-hmm.
for the inevitability of sadness for 6 months, and then your whole lives can be changed. It's that simple. Like you just have to be
Mm-hmm.
shitty. Part of my language for 6 months, and your whole world can change. And you guys want to
Got to take
win.
our medicine.
Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to tank. Nobody wants to lose. I won't bring up names, but nobody wants to lose. And it's like, nobody
Mm-hmm.
wants to lose. And it's like, if we don't lose and burn the forest down, then you can't regrow a forest where everything can thrive. Just like you said, that was the perfect
Mhm.
analogy, and I understood it. But I'm also 41 years old, and I've been through this. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Movie.
Over and over, the same movie. Yeah. Pizzle got it. So Mark Wilson, first round quarterback, 1980, the year I was born. I'm pretty old. I have gray stuff everywhere, right?
Respect. I
So,
have more gray hair than you, so I wouldn't worry about that.
all right, Matt LeBlanc. Anyway, he's got the LeBlanc haircut, guys. So Mark Wilson didn't exactly work out either, right? And so there's this like thing where in Raider history, the guys that we won with were brought in from somewhere else, or Stabler, second round, right? Um, and so I think there's this idea that that's how you win, how you get a good quarterback, and it's just not, especially in like the free agency era. Like that's just not how it works. Um, Rich Gannon was like a lucky thing, and we did not win the
Diamond
Super
in the rough.
Bowls,
Diamond in the rough.
right? Right? So that was. I mean, if you look at the
Some people want Sam Darnold,
list of
bro. Some of
Super
our fan
Bowl winning
base wants
quarterbacks,
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Some of the people in our fan base want us
what?
to go get Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Some of the Raider fans want
Like,
us to get Sam Darnold. Like, why would you want that? You want to
yeah,
talk
no,
about mediocrity. You want to talk about mediocrity?
yeah,
Sam Darnold is that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. So Pizzle's been a fan since '74. You got me, bro. That's definitely longer
Yeah, he's got me.
than
He's
me
got
because
me.
I wasn't even alive when you started watching Raiders.
Me
But you
neither.
probably can't top my dad. My dad has been a fan since Daryl LaMonica was the quarterback, which is weird. So, but yeah, shout out to Pizzle for being one of those true ones. Look at the list of the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, right? We got Montana, Bradshaw, Brady, Bart Starr, Elway, Mahomes, Manning, Aikman, Staubach, Greasy, Jimmy Plunkett, Roethlisberger, Namath, Steve Young, Phil Simms, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. Taylor was a second round pick. Johnny Unitas, and then we have the outliers like Kurt Warner, Doug Williams, right? But do you notice anything here? Do you see a bunch of like retread guys, or are these like top quarterbacks picked by that team? Yeah. You see, that's how you win Super Bowls. And that's what we have to start to do. We have to draft well, or we will never be good. So, you know, and he says Mark Wilson broke his leg, and that's how Plunkett took over. This is true. Sometimes, a break is lucky. You get a lucky break. That's what he did there. But
Let's get
Mark
into the
Wilson was
chat.
awesome.
Let's get into the chat. Legit. Let's get into
Hmm.
the chat, bro.
Hmm.
Like go through
Yeah.
the chat right now. Let's get into all those people talking, dude, and let's answer all those questions right now. Because honestly, that's what this is
Yeah.
about. It's about people and their opinions. Like I used to be, which I still am. I get in chats and sometimes I don't get answered. So go through the chat, dude, and let's answer questions, bro.
Yeah, for sure. We got about a minute left. Let's go and see if we can answer all these questions before we're out of here, right? Um, let's see. Boom. Where were we? Let's go start at the top. So, I just want to shout out my boy Raider Ryan. Thank you for always supporting
Ryan's
him.
the
Dude
man,
is
dude.
like,
Ryan's the man.
he's the dude. This dude is responsible for like some random fan and his wife being able to come down to the Raider practice because he donated tickets for us to raffle off. That was awesome. He's a
Yep.
he's a real one, man. super
That's an
duper.
open-hearted cat, dude. That dude, he's a real one for real.
Mm-hmm. And he says, "I'm right there with you. Some crazy way. Let's go ahead and beat them Chiefs, right?" Um,
Well, I'm cool with
let's
that.
see.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with beating the Chiefs. I'm cool with that.
If that was the only game we won for the rest of the season, that'd be okay with me. Just because we'll still only have 3 wins. We probably still have a top pick. And the thing about Shador, dude, like he can kind of do his thing where it's like, I'm not going to this team, or I want to go here, right? He pulls Eli Manning thing, right? And so he could end up in a situation where he gets to kind of push himself down to the Raiders, even if we don't have the second, third pick or something like that. Um, Especially because there's a chance that he comes as a package with his father as the head coach.
Oh, so you about that life, huh? You legit like low key like do you think that Deion Sanders could lead the Raiders to a Super Bowl?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well then I respect it because you know more than I do, and that's facts. Cheers.
uh, you want a coach that knows how to deal with Shador. Obviously, his dad does. So that's a huge plus. They already know. We already know they work well. Colorado is a successful team in a big conference. That's a major conference.
Very
Um,
successful since he's been there, actually.
he's immediately going to have the respect of the players, right? This team obviously responds to a former player and the way that they understand the game and what it takes to do what those players do. Um, you know, the thing I like about him is that AP feels like he throws people under the bus, right? And Dion is the bus. Like he just runs the media right over, right? Like he is such a big dude, big kind of star, big personality, um, and he kind of attracts all that attention on him rather than on the team and the players. He is, very adamant about defending his guys. I've never seen him throw anybody under the bus. His team is prepared to play. He knows how to manage clock. It seems like the players get better under him. So player development seems to be something he's good at. And he's just one of the smartest players that's ever played in the NFL, right? He thought the game, not just played it. And that's why I think that he has an opportunity to be an exceptional coach. So,
So
we'll,
Dion, real quick, Dion brings his whole coaching staff everywhere he's ever been. Are you cool with Dion bringing his whole Colorado staff to the Raiders then?
I want whoever's a head coach to pick their entire staff. I
All
don't like
right.
the idea of anything else happening. I think that it's almost unfair to a coach to bring him in and then he doesn't get to pick his staff, right? AP got his staff that he wanted. I guess he wanted
Kind
what he
of.
got. Kind of.
Kind
Well,
of.
hey, if you get rejected, you got to keep going. I mean,
Yeah, we both
he
know
spit
about
at
that.
he spit at this girl, man, and she was like, "Hell no, you can't have that number." And so,
No.
you know, Cliff left, man. He was gonna go wherever Jaden Daniels was gonna go, and he could read
Yeah,
the
that's
tea leaves, and we
unfortunate.
weren't getting Jaden Daniels. So,
That's
uh,
unfortunate, but yeah, no, there's no way. And
so
anybody who
no,
says otherwise, by the way, we tried. We really did try, and they weren't giving it up. So
he says, Raider Ryan said, "I refuse to let the team's inability to have at least a competitive game. Uh, I'm not getting mad this season. We will play ourselves into a top pick." There you go.
correct.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
get mad anymore, Ryan. I don't get mad anymore. I literally don't let this team ruin my life anymore. So
yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I I was kind of resigned to what's going to happen after the Charger game week 1. I lost faith in AP, based on some of those decisions he made, and then based on the
he
fact
made
that
a lot of
after
bad
that,
decisions. Yeah.
He doubled down on it, man. He was like, I'm gonna do it again. And you know what? He did. Like 2 or
He's
3 more
tripled down.
times.
He's
Hmm.
quadrupled down at this point.
Yeah.
And
So
I
yeah, I just
vouched for
don't.
AP. I vouched for AP. I'm not saying that I didn't. I vouched for him. I wanted him in the
Dude.
beginning of the end of last year. I'm not
I,
lying. I'm saying that I wanted him, and I'm saying right now he's not the best choice.
yeah. I think everybody's come around to my position now. Pretty much. He's got to go.
Yeah, you're ahead of the curve. You're always ahead of the freaking curve.
So like I think he's from my neighborhood, man. He went to Long Beach Poly. I was biased in my wanting him to be the coach because of that, but I have to like he is who he is, man. Like he made it really clear, what kind of coach he is at this point. So I
The only
think.
reason I wanted him, bro, is because I didn't even know anything about AP. All I knew was he
Hmm.
was a Raiders fan since the beginning, and that's why I wanted a Raiders fan to run the team. And
Hmm.
obviously, that's not working. So
But we're over our hour, so we're gonna say good night to everybody and
peace.
say what we always say, which is stay positive, read between the lines, right? And stay hot.
Just
Good
can't,
night now.
baby. Y'all be easy.